Are you listening? Damn. Yeah.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Boss Talks. I'm Christine Drummond and I'm here with my co-host Joel Lord. And today we are so excited about this podcast because we are talking how to entwine and how important it is to entwine health and business. And we really feel like you can't really have success in one without the other. And we're going to share more about that with you. Look, we want you to share this information. If you're getting a lot of value from the content that we're sharing, we would love you to share it with other people. So share it, don't share it. But if you love what you hear, then help us out and help us get the message out there. That's all we ask. Like, there's no cost. There's no advertising in our podcast. We are literally just doing this because we know what we've learned and how that's changed our life. And we want to help impact and change our listeners' lives as well. And that's you. So if you're loving this, share it out. But Joel, we're talking all things health and business today. And I don't know about you, but for me, when I've been really focused on a business goal in the past, on a massive target, my health has deteriorated. I've put it on the back burner because I tell myself the bullshit story that I don't have time right now. You know, business is booming and I'm going for this goal and I don't have time for anything else. So I don't know if you feel like that, but I kind of look at the wheel of life. And you look at all the different areas from fitness and health to career to finances to relationships to, your self-love and things like that. Sometimes, and I don't know if our listeners are in the same boat, sometimes when we are so focused on one of those areas, another one in that wheel of life will deteriorate. It'll decline. So we're going to give you some tips today about how to get a more balanced wheel, I guess, and how to really be the best at your game in your business. If you're an employer or even if you're an employee and you've got dreams of, moving up the ranks, it's going to be so crucial for you to listen to this podcast and how your food affects your mood, your productivity, and your success. So Joel, I want to bring you in here because I know that you've done this as well. You're back doing the 75 hard because you're looking to be at your best in your business. So do you want to talk more about that?
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, Christine, like I totally resonate with putting, the health on the back burner. And like, I'm going back probably 8 years now. And I was, if you go back 8 years ago, I was running sub 40 10Ks. Well, I know you wouldn't believe it if you're seeing me on YouTube now, but like that's a fact. And I was obsessed about my health. And, at that time I used my health to actually escape from my business. It was the only way to get away from the phone. I hadn't learned the skills that I needed to have to sort of get away from that. And, I'd be out training for 2 or 3 hours or whatever, and you get back and there'd be like 15 missed calls or whatever. And it was crazy. But I really had health as my absolute top of my values list way before I knew anything about what, values were. I was just a person doing the best I could with the skills and tools that I had. And, I was lean. I watched every single piece of calorie, carb, protein, everything. I was probably crazy. So that's what I was doing. I was obsessed about that. And, then along came a financial disaster for me. And next thing I know, I'm making the decision, and I made it, like I can tell you, I made it consciously. I was like, I'm super fit. I'm just going to take the next 3 or 4 months to really make sure we didn't lose the house, to be honest. I really hit some crazy times in my life. And here I was just saying, well, I'm going to put the health in the back burner because I'm so fit, I can just pick it back up easily. Well, it only took me those 3 months to get habits that I'm still paying for now. So, and that's, best part of a decade later. So, something that a really intelligent, successful businesswoman that I've met said, never put the momentum down, because it's so hard to pick back up. So if you've got momentum in your health now, don't put it down. I'm a test case for that. So, and I don't know what else you wanted me to say about that, Christine. Like, it's just that was a mistake. And like, I'm in a way, like, I don't look back and, get down on myself for doing it. I'm in a really good position financially now. And I'm, as you said, doing the 75 hard, because it really just brings us to today's topic, doesn't it? Like, how do I have both? Because if I don't have my health, and I'll go back a bit, like, if my goal is to make a lot of money, like, for me to perform at my best, I need to have all my ducks in a row. And health is definitely one of them. Statistically, it shows that, like, you can look at any of you, like, well-known business people that we see, like Andy Priscilla, Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, they've all made way more money after they've got healthier. And, your mind can't be as sharp, possibly. You don't have as much energy if you're not physically in good shape. So that actually really correlates, and that's sunk in my brain for the reason why I'm doing it, because I can't, like, if my goal is to make a lot of money, I want to give myself the best chance of being able to do that. Well, then health has to be a part of it. It's not a separate thing for me anymore, like where it was. I incorrectly believed that I didn't need it. So does that make sense?
It makes a lot of sense. And I just want to add in here right now that, you're very open. You want to make a lot of money, and I want to make a lot of money. And I want the listeners to know that it's not wrong to want to make a lot of money. We want to make a lot of money because, one, we want a particular lifestyle. Two, we want to make a massive impact in the world, and we want to be able to give to the causes, the charities that we want to be able to give to. So if you've got a funny relationship with money, it's time to start working on that. Don't let another minute, month, year pass you by having a weird, awkward relationship with money. Get your shit sorted, get those ducks in the row. And health plays a massive part in what your earning potential is. Nutrition, like, let's talk the nervous system, for example. Like, the nervous system alone cannot be stressed and grateful at the same time. So you need to do things that allow your nervous system to feel calm, and grounding is an incredible way to do that, feeling grounded, but also eating certain foods that allow your nervous system to be working effectively and efficiently so that you can perform at your peak. If your nervous system is all over the place and stressed and under pressure, you're going to have things like your adrenal fatigue and a lot of autoimmune diseases and things like that. So nutrition in regards to your nervous system, so that you can function better, so your brain is clear and focused and has the clarity to make good decisions, and to take that inspired action. If you're eating poorly, your decision making is going to be flawed. Like, I'm here to tell you that. Like, there's no way around it. If you're stuffing all the wrong foods in your body and you're fueling your body with the wrong things, and I'm going to share what some of those things are in a moment, that are causing you to make bad decisions, that are affecting your motivation. Like, how many of you struggle to get out of bed in the morning? How many of you are reaching for a coffee that's the first thing you're putting in your body when you first wake up, when you're most dehydrated? So many of us are reaching for the caffeine, which is just dehydrating us even more. Like, little things like this that as Joel said, they just become habit, and we put down the momentum of our health. How many people have been on diet after diet after diet, and you go really good for a day or two, a week or two, and then the old patterns creep back in. And someone said to me, I was on a call maybe a month or two ago, she said, we don't live a life, we live patterns. And it's so true. And some of the patterns that you're living right now aren't even yours. They've been handed down from your parents, from your grandparents. They're ingrained into our genes. But I'm here to tell you that you can break those patterns. You can change and create new behaviors in any given moment. Is it easy? Shit, no. Can you do it though? Absolutely. It's essential to your vitality. If you don't start breaking some of these behaviors, if you don't do what Joel said and just keep the momentum going, and it's not about taking things out. We're all about what can you start adding in that are going to help fill you with the vitamins and the minerals that are missing from our everyday diets, because that's what's happening in the world right now. We have a whole food deficiency. We have a vitamin and mineral deficiency, and it's because our soils are so depleted of minerals. So we're reaching for all these man-made supplements to try and replace what our body is craving and needs to thrive. Now, how can we thrive if we're eating foods that are depleted of nutrition? We're reaching for a lot of carb-based foods. And yes, they give us a small window of satisfaction, but long-term, they're doing more damage to our health, to your mindset, to your mood, to your energy, to your relationships, to your decision-making, to your stress levels, to your sleep. It's affecting everything. And how many of us right now are not getting a proper night's sleep because we are consumed by devices? There's devices all around us. We're not switching off. We're not allowing the melatonin to effectively work in our bodies because we're constantly, flooding ourselves with these fake lights. So there's so much that you can do to, I suppose, amp up your health without having to miss out on things in life. And that's what we really want you to get today, is that you can have a balance in both health and business. You don't have to let one, overtake the other. And I'm going to give you some tips in a minute, but I wanted to bring you in, Joel, because I know you were taking some notes there. So I want to bring you in while that's fresh on your mind.
Yeah, well, it's crazy just to talk about some of the products that are out there. Like I'm following some accounts on Instagram that really just helping educate me. And one of the things that sort of shocked me recently was that, like, we can all agree that Roundup and its active ingredient are not actually safe for human consumption. It would be crazy, like it was crazy to see some of the stuff that it's in. Like, did you realize that, I'm only going off the data, that it's in Oreos? It's found in biscuits. It's found in all that kind of stuff. Like, if you're eating, and it's in a lot of everyday stuff that you would never think that, because, hey, I thought Roundup would be there to help, like, stuff like your vegetables, and you got to wash your vegetables to get all that stuff off. Well, how can you wash a biscuit? So it's getting into you anyway. So like that's a known carcinogenic, and that's just one thing. And, I'm following someone who is educating her following on what all those lovely little numbers mean. And, some of the things that, Christine's saying, like insomnia and everything like that, that's coming from those food additives that are just a number, so she's going around to all the shops and building this big database of stuff that you can eat and giving you alternatives, blue box mac and cheese. If you're Australian, you know what that is. Well, there's actually really great alternatives that are out there that have nothing crappy in them. Even the pasta in them's made from good stuff. So it's crazy. But I guess what I really wanted to talk to you about, when you said the dieting, people that do diets and they do like 50 diets a year and they really just yo-yo. Like I'm not saying I'm not a yo-yo dieter. I'm a yo-yo 75 harder. So I've done the 75 hard a lot of times, and I made a commitment to really, wasn't part of 75 hard. I made a commitment to be really healthy, and a really good friend of mine who's really turned his health around. He's a beast. Like, he won the, is it F45? An F45 challenge where he got to, he won holidays. He got first in the whole thing. And so he knows what he's talking about. He actually lost fat and gained muscle in the competition. So any of you fitness fanatics out there know that that's that's a pretty good thing to be able to do, because usually it's challenging to do both. But what he said was, he goes, Joel, you're really great at the white knuckle stuff. You know, you get given a challenge, you'll run through a wall. He goes, you know, like as Christine and I have done in the past, we've like done stair challenges. We've done, 45 minutes of stairs. We've done kilometers of stairs, like 5Ks of stairs. Christine's done marathons on bloody rollerblades, and like we're really good at the white knuckle stuff. It's just what he said he'd prefer to see me do is what happens in between. He goes, it's obviously you've got a pattern there, and Christine's talking about patterns, a pattern of not making the best decisions in between 75 hard. He goes, you obviously can do that part. What happens in between? He goes, that's the challenge. And he says, like, it's just about making decisions that are better decisions in between the challenges that we all do. Because like so what I'm doing this time is I'm not using the app. So by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google 75 hard. You'll see it. Some of you will go, wow, you're crazy for doing that. Some of you will go, that's just what I want to do. I can tell you it will change your life. That it will look like a health challenge, but it's actually a mindset program. And it will prove to you that this podcast is sound, because when you do it, you will make more money. I'm telling you right now, you will not put up with excuses. You will not hang around losers. Everything will change for you. So seriously, go have a look at it. But what I'm doing this time, Christine, is I'm not putting a time limit on it. I'm not using the app. I'm not needing to record it. I don't care when I started. I want to make this just what I do, because I go to, like, I've worked in the crew for Tony Robbins. I was getting basically zero sleep. We were finishing work, because it's psycho. It's like for a short amount of time, but you learn that you can work, right? There was I could barely get home in time to get an hour or two sleep before I came back and worked, right? I'm not sorry that I did it. It's awesome. Like, I recommend anyone that gets the chance to work in the crew. It's a great experience. You meet great people. So there was a guy there that still got a gym session in. And I was like, I'm not going to lie. I was I didn't even need an excuse not to do it. I was that worn out. I was wrecked. I was fit then too, but I was wrecked. But he still got an hour in the gym done. I was like, wow. And then you hear them on stage on Health Day saying, hand up if you've got barely any sleep. And everyone put their hand up. And then he goes like, hand up who got a gym session in still. And the fit people who have it as a priority, people that look like Christine, still got a gym session in. They didn't have an excuse. So I guess to tie this up, Christine, the reason why I'm doing the 75 hard the way I'm doing it this time is I want this to be just how I live. I can't keep going back and, yo-yoing this fitness. It's important to me. It's going to help me get everything I want. So come hell or high water, I'm going to make this a habit, just like I made not doing it a habit. So that was a long rant, Christine. Hopefully, like today, I'm doing it a little bit different. I'm literally sharing the shit I don't do right instead of getting on my soapbox and sharing what I do right. Like, this is literally where I keep tripping over, and I'm sick of it. So, yeah.
I love that. And just while you're on the topic of, fitting in that workout, guys, it doesn't have to be an hour or 2 hours in the gym. Like, the best way that I've learned to work out is make sure that you're getting short spurts of huffy puffy exercise where you're like you can't talk. And I'm going to give you an example of a program called Peak 8, which is basically 30 seconds of flat out working out, whether it's cycling, running, like you're sprinting, hill runs, stair runs, whatever, and then 90 seconds of recovery. So you might do a 30-second sprint with 90 seconds of walking. And what you want to do is you want to build that up to 8 rounds. So just start wherever you're at. And if you're fitter and you feel like you need more, you can do more. But that it doesn't have to be like slogging it out for hours. But we do need to have huffy puffy exercise in there. And whether it's a weight session or running, riding, swimming, whatever, you need to get into your maximum heart rate. And that's where the body really performs at its peak. So I just want to sort of talk about a couple of things in regards to health and how this is going to help you in your business life, be more productivity and get more done. Like when I spend more time on self-care, working out, prepping my meals, doing all the little things, I get more work done. I'm way more productive, can get, double done in my day. So you want to have proper, what we call sleep hygiene. And why is sleep hygiene so important? It's because we've got these hormones in our body that kick in when we are properly rested. And if we're not getting that proper rest, if we've got too much screen time, if we're going through the insomnia, all that kind of stuff, our insulin levels go all over the shop. And that's where we start to make poor decisions when it comes to food. So we want to make sure that we've got a stable insulin levels. We want to make sure that we're regulating our blood sugar levels. So you want to do an audit on your bedroom. And what do I mean by doing an audit? Well, remove any technology, like turn your phone onto airplane mode when you're sleeping, maybe switch the Wi-Fi off in the house overnight, just whatever you can do to reduce the amount of technology exposure. You might want to put a salt lamp in. You might want to dim the lights at nighttime. You want to break up your screen. So between 1 to 3 hours before you go to bed, you want to make sure that you're not looking at any screens. So even I got caught up in that, especially when I was busy, with the business, but now I've brought back in, reading a book at nighttime, and it's amazing. You just feel so much better. You might buy some blue light glasses, just to help reduce, because if you're constantly looking at screens, whether it's through the day or at night, that again is affecting those hormones, those sleep hormones. So getting the blue light glasses. Now I don't have any, but I'm doing my research into getting a pair because I want to see what difference it makes. Have a routine. So you might have a diffuser, have in your diffuser things like lavender, things that are going to make you feel sleepy. You might have a chamomile tea before bed. You might read a book, dim the lights, do a meditation, have a warm shower. Through your daytime activities, you want to really clean up your daytime activities. You want to reduce your exposure to alcohol, reduce your exposure to caffeine. You want to make sure that one of the first things you do in the morning is let your eyes see natural light. So whether you keep the blinds up or go outside for 10 minutes, you want to kick your shoes off and go and connect with the earth. Also reduce stress, like clear your schedule of any unnecessary commitments. Like, why are we saying yes to so many things? Like, clear that out, guys. What is it that's going to get you closer to your business goals? And then everything else, like, get rid of it. Self-care and, doing the activities that are going to get you closer to your business goals is what you want to fill your schedule with, okay? Nurture yourself. So whether you do yoga, add in a weekly massage, take yourself to lunch, take yourself on a date, a lunch date, making sure you're maintaining balanced meals throughout the day. I spoke about that. You want to make sure you get enough protein. You actually need more protein as you age. So making sure you're getting good, well-balanced protein, good fats and starches with every meal. You want to supplement naturally. So some of the supplements that our body really needs that we're really deficient in right now is things like your zinc, your B12, your magnesium. So you want to be making sure that you're getting foods that are rich in those things. And if you're not, then supplement. I take a B12 supplement and I take a natural supplement as well that covers a lot of these vitamins and minerals naturally as well. Aromatherapy is great if you're into that. Connecting with nature, as I said, and grounding. Detoxing from technology, people, and stimulants. Okay, some of us really need to detox from people. There's going to be people, Joel and I were talking off air before this podcast, and there's definitely, I think everybody needs to detox from people that are holding you back and allowing you to play small in life. you know, the naysayers. And we talk about 75 hard a lot. One of my good friends has just started the 75 hard, and a few people in her close circle have told her, there's no way you can do that. There's no way you can go 75 days without alcohol. And she's using that as fuel to get her through, you know? So sometimes, you know, you can use these toxic people to fire us up and use it in a good way. But eventually, if you hang around them all the time, they are going to break you down and chip away at your spirit. Okay. So make sure you're choosing high energy people, high vibrational people, people that are positive, people that are going to have your back, that are going to raise you up. What else do I want to add in? I just want to really quickly mention dairy and wheat. I know I've gone on about this a lot in my social media before, but it's causing so much inflammation in our body, guys. It is so highly processed, so far removed from its original form. We have genetically modified wheat so much that it doesn't even look like it used to 20, 30, 40 years ago. It is insane. I know Joel spoke about, you know, Roundup as well and what that's doing in the body, but we want to make sure that what I've learned is that dairy and wheat, they cause a lot of tears in our gut lining. And yes, it repairs, and it repairs quite quickly, but over time, the more that it's tearing, the less quickly it heals. And eventually you're going to get to a stage where it doesn't heal anymore. And that's where leaky gut, that's where a lot of inflammation in our digestive system comes from. It comes from those inflamed foods that we keep putting in our body. Now, I'm not saying cut it out entirely. Some of you do need to do that because you have, you know, allergies and things to it and resistances to it. But guys, seriously, if there was nothing else that you did to your diet and you just removed those two things, your energy, your decision-making, your health, your skin, your gut, your bloating, your gas, like so much in your body would heal. And that's all your body ever wants to do. It wants to heal. And it is amazing at doing that if you allow it the time, the energy, the space, and fuel it with the right things. Your body will heal. So how does this tie in with business? Well, if you've got these business goals and you've got a team of people underneath you, or you're an employer and you employ a lot of people, and your staff are coming to work tired, hungover, feeling lethargic, having all these autoimmune diseases, digestive issues, are they going to be performing at their best? Like, you need to be the example. I really feel when you own a business, you need to be the example of good health. You need to show people, your employees, the people around you, your family, friends, your community, what it looks like to live with health and vitality. And your business will flourish because of that. Imagine having a workforce that is all energized, making clear decisions, good decisions, coming to work in a positive attitude, a positive outlook, like that are coming to work feeling grateful. And like, I don't know about you, Joel, but that's the kind of workforce that I want working for me. So I know that was a massive, like that was a lot to take on. I feel like a fire hydrant, like I've just, blah. But start with one thing that I've mentioned. Like, don't try and do it all. Like, momentum starts by taking the first step. What did I say that made sense to you? What's the first thing out of those tips that you could start implementing that you're going, you know what, I could really do that. That makes sense to me. I'm going to start with that one. So I just wanted to say that, Joel, but I'll bring you in again. I know that was a lot.
Christine, that's how I did it. Because, you know, people try to make these big cold turkey leaps, and the reality is that it's too far to leap, and it's very easy to fall back. But when I changed my diet, it was actually a really destructive way, and I say diet, it was what I was eating. So I used to eat really badly because I was super fat, and then I lost the weight, but I did it, I look back now in an unhealthy way. Like, I wasn't starving myself. I was eating but I was eating a lot of meat and dairy, and I had zero carbs, and I had zero carbs for a long time, and I trained really hard, and I lost heaps of weight. I lost 45 kilos. So it's pretty good weight loss, but it was not sustainable for my body. And I didn't like, I look back now I know that my body was giving me so many signals that I was messing up. But, what I basically did is I went and educated myself and I saw just how wrong I had it. And I was polar opposite of what I should be doing. I wasn't eating unhealthy food. I was just eating the wrong food for me. And, people can hate on whatever I'm saying about diets. I don't care. I know what's right for me. But what I did was I was like, well, I don't know if eating this or that is all bad. But what I did is I went and worked out the stuff that I knew 110% was bad for me. So there's no argument that soft drink is bad for you. So maybe you could start just by cutting that out. We have a soda stream and we just have soda water all the time and filtered water, So as I learned things, I just swapped them out. I don't eat like I don't drink alcohol. I know that for me there's no argument that is literally very bad for you. So I just don't do it. I need to work on the caffeine, Christine, but that I don't drink dairy. I don't eat dairy. Like I may have ice cream every now and then, but I make sure that's not in the house. So I guess that brings me to the next part. Like, don't have things in the house that you shouldn't be having, because then there's no temptation. Like it's really, really simple. And yeah, you will get to the end of the night maybe and have a craving, but it's kind of stiff shit then, isn't it? Because it's not there. You can't do anything about it. So you will drink water, or maybe you'll pick a banana up. So we're cooking at home. Like, I don't understand what it is, Christine. Like, if you really just think logically and without any emotion and you calm down, I don't think there's a single person on the planet that could argue that you should just eat what Mother Nature's producing for us. You know what I mean? Like, we don't need to have, like, why are we eating Oreos? Why are we eating even ice cream? Like, why are we doing all that when, in the scheme of things, does a really delicious peach or apple or banana or pineapple or mango, does it actually taste that much worse than Doritos? Like, really? Like, so we're doing so much home cooking now. Like, we were anyway, but we're really just doing what you said. Actually, we've lost the bread. Bread's just gone. And I lost so much weight not eating bread back in the day. But I just don't understand why people are moving away from Mother Nature so much. She doesn't need help. Eat apples. Go find, like, there's plenty of places. I'm lucky where I live. I can go buy fruit that's straight from the farm. Like, I'm starting to educate myself on how to grow. Like, I got a massive amount of celery. You know what I mean? And it's fresh in the garden. And it's rained on. There's no spray. There's no, my kale's fresh. Like, it's kind of fun. It's good for the kids too. So, like, I guess all in all, like, if you really, like, if you had a Ferrari, would you put, like, bad fuel in it and expect it to run well? Like, if you've got a diesel car, I could put chip oil in that. The oil that they cook the chips in at McDonald's, I could put that in your car and it would run, but would it run well? And that's what that's what I think about now. Like, I think about bridging that gap with, the right supplements, because as Christine has said on her social media recently, 8 apples it takes 3 apples to equal 1 apple from 20 years ago now, because we've damaged the soil that badly. Like, we've got to take it back, guys. We've got to take it back and fuel ourselves properly so we can be at peak performance, because it just comes back to this thing in business, Christine. Like, the audacity of people to think that their competition isn't eating healthy and going to the gym and playing at their best. You're not respecting your competition. Like, why would I ever think that I could beat someone in business who's got the equal opportunities to me, but is a health fanatic as well when I'm eating the wrong stuff. Like, they're just going to outlast me. They're going to have more energy. They're going to have better ideas. They're going to be clear. They're going to be more excited. They're going to be more vibrant. Why the hell would you ever think that you could compete against that if you're being a slob? Anyway, that's how you make money. That's how it links up to business for me. And that's literally what's on my mind right now.
Yeah, I love that, mate. And I see a lot of business owners that are really, like, they put themselves under a lot of pressure. Their bodies are under a lot of stress. They're making big decisions, like multi-million-dollar decisions. So of course there's going to be stress that comes with it. But if you're not handling that stress through your nutrition, through your diet, you're actually causing more damage to your body than you believe. Please don't underestimate the power of stress and what it does, and the oxidative stress that it causes, the inflammation that it causes at the cellular level is insane. So when you're stressed, your body actually shuts down the digestive and immune system. Like, how crazy is that? Like, that's just one implication of stress. So we want to make sure that you are controlling stress. And the number one way to do that is through your diet. You know, making sure that you're eating a lot of foods that are not adding to the stress on your cells and your molecular structure. So I want to give you some foods that are going to help, really kickstart your health journey. Okay. You heard Joel talk about celery. Celery is amazing. Like, honestly, it helps with bone density. It helps with so many things. And I don't necessarily like to eat celery, so I'll just whack it in my smoothie so I can just drink it instead. But I want to give you, because I know Joel was talking about, making things from scratch at home. I actually was at Joel's place, I don't know, about a month ago, and they served me the most beautiful vegetable soup. It was so delicious, and it was just full of color. And we eat with our eyes, right? So we want to make sure that what we're making looks good. Yesterday, day 2 of lockdown here for us, I decided to make some chocolate with the kids. They were craving chocolate. Now, the number one nutritional food that you can put in your body is cacao, raw cacao. It's raw chocolate before chocolate gets highly processed, and then they pop it into those packets that most of us eat, right? It is so full of magnesium and beautiful vitamins and minerals that your body can recognize. So we made some chocolate yesterday, and it's so simple. It's 3 ingredients: coconut oil, cacao, and a little bit of maple syrup just for a bit of sweetness. And then we added in our own toppings. You can add in nuts. The kids added in little fruit and vegetable chewables to give it like a little chewy taste. I added in like little dollops of, nut butter on top, almond butter and things like that. It is amazing. So top 10 foods that you can eat to reduce your stress, to improve your digestion, to increase the amount of vitamins and minerals going into your body so you can make better decisions, feel clearer, get the white happening in your eyes. How many of us, when we start eating bad and we are not looking after ourselves, the white goes an off-white color? Okay, so we want to make sure you've got the bright, shiny eyes as well, and you're thriving, you're energized and feeling vital. So number 1 is dark leafy greens. Your spinaches, your parsley, things like chlorophyll, things that are full of magnesium. Like, most of us, I think it's about 68% of the population is deficient in magnesium, and we actually need that. Okay, so dark leafy greens, again, whack them in your smoothie. Like, if you're like me and you don't want to sit there and physically eat them all the time, just put them in a smoothie. Super, super simple. Walnuts. Oh my gosh, walnuts are flooded with vitamin E, magnesium, copper. They're full of omega-3. They reduce inflammation, and they have a beautiful vitamin in there called niacin, which is a natural mood booster. So activated walnuts, again, whack them in your smoothie, are amazing for your mental health, as well as your immunity and everything like that. Turmeric. There's this big buzz about turmeric right now, but it is a superfood. It's amazing for reducing inflammation. I know that, most mornings when I don't have turmeric and I'm eating a lot of inflamed foods, every morning I've got this thing in my foot. where it's called, like I can feel the pain. But when I incorporate a lot of these foods and turmeric that takes inflammation, like I wake up in the morning, there's no pain. Okay, so turmeric is amazing for that. Wild salmon is also amazing for your omega-3s. Avocados, oh my gosh, if you don't like eating avocados, whack it in your smoothie because you can't taste it. They're full of vitamin E, vitamin C, fats. They increase the production of collagen as well, which is another hype thing that's going on right now. So, you know, anti-aging, great for the skin. Olive oil, another amazing superfood that's great for anti-aging and helping you get the good oils in. Coconut oil is full of, you know, polyphenols and things like that as well. Broccoli and broccoli sprouts. I don't know about you, Joel, but I don't really like eating sprouts. They taste they're very stringy and stuff. So again, they go straight into my smoothie. Ginger, actually, most of these things were in my smoothie this morning. Ginger is another one, a superfood. It's antibacterial, it's antifungal, it's anti-inflammatory. And then, as I said, the last one is cacao. Oh my gosh, it is an incredibly powerful superfood. It needs to be a staple in your cupboard. You can add it to smoothies. You can have it in a hot chocolate. You know, my kids, I thought they were going to be a little bit funny about the chocolates we made yesterday, but they were like, oh my gosh, these are delicious. So then we dipped strawberries in them and we let them set. We've made chocolate covered blueberries. This is simple health, guys. This is not, you don't need a nutrition degree to know all this. This is just what can you start adding in? And if you just start with a smoothie every day with some of these things, watch what happens to your mental clarity. Watch what happens to your digestive system. Watch what happens to your immunity, your skin, your energy. As I said, your eyes, like your hair even, your stress levels, your mood. You know, you'll find that you're a calmer person. Like this all matters in your business. And where can you transfer some of these skills over to your business? Where can you be more consistent in your business? Where can you have healthy habits in your business as well, where you're allowing yourself to take time out to really practice that self-love, that self-care? Where can you, you know, encourage your employees to take time out? You know, I used to work for a massive corporation, and we weren't, as an employee, we weren't allowed to have two jobs because they wanted us to be productive. They wanted us to be well rested. Yeah. So where can you encourage your employees and the people around you to take permission and to take time out for themselves, to breathe, to slow down, to meditate, you know, to do the small things that are going to allow us to perform at our peak. So I hope that this has been helpful. Joel, I want to bring you back in for final thoughts. We could go on all day about this stuff though, couldn't we? Like seriously.
Oh, absolutely. And you know, it's funny. The saying that comes up for me is that the healthy person has many choices and many desires, but the sick person has just one. So like really take that to the bank and let that sink in. You know, like if you get sick, all these goals that you have will all disappear because you'll just want to get better. Like, you know, you'll just want more time. You'll want more time with your kids. And, you know, I see friends of mine, you know, they're the same age and they're in their 60s and they're totally different people. You know what I mean? Like I've got a friend, Kurik Ashley, he's spent 60 laps around the sun, you know, and he's around that age and you would think that he's much, much younger. Like he's a black belt and he's like still, he put most of us to shame in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like, and then there's people that are now in their 60s dealing with heart attacks and, you know, strokes and diabetes and all that kind of stuff. So like it really is important. And I guess my final, like, I guess you've been lucky if you've listened to this far, because you've heard Christine, who is an expert in this field and has done the study and everything to be, you know, an expert. And you've got myself sharing just what I've picked up along the way about a guy that's lived this kind of stuff. And the thing I can say is when you start eating the foods that Christine just mentioned then and foods like that, you don't eat as much. You're not hungry. you're not craving anything because, when you eat colors and you eat the rainbow or however you want to say it, and you have a really diverse diet, your body's not like sending hunger signals because you're missing something. The reason why you get hungry is because you're nutritionally deficient. Your body's looking for minerals and vitamins and goodness, and so it tells you that you're hungry, and you run out and you just keep eating, and that's why we get fat. It's because we're not eating the right food. So when I ate that soup, Christine, that soup came from when I was burning 5,500 calories a day. We got that soup recipe, and I'd come home and I'd eat that soup and I wasn't hungry. I'd have a big bowl of it and I was not starving. My body just handled everything. It was trimming me down. It was repairing my body from the amount of exercise I was doing. It's just great. It's just everything soup. We just put everything you basically said just then in a soup. So soup, smoothie, it doesn't matter. Like it had it all, and you won't be hungry and you won't crave the bad stuff that we're up against. Like we're up against scientists that are designing this to keep us hungry. So we keep eating. It's a business. Like that's enough for me. I hate being controlled and I hate being fooled, and I don't trust them. I don't trust the food companies. I trust my apple tree more than I trust like Nestle's or Nestle or whoever the bloody hell they are, or Coca-Cola, Know what I'm saying? That's what I want to leave with. Have the intelligence to like just question it. And we've made it this far eating from Mother Nature. It's only the last 50 whatever years that we've started processing it. And isn't it interesting that it's correlated with the worst health problems like the human race has ever seen has come since we've let these food companies have their way with our natural food. So that's me done.
I love it, mate. And this is such a topic close to our hearts because we know what has worked for us. We see what is happening out there in the world. We deal with a lot of people on a daily basis, and we just want people to feel their best. And it's not that difficult. We know it takes courage, and it takes consistency, and it takes a lot of hard work but you've just got to start somewhere, guys. Okay, start somewhere. And if you're listening to this and you are a business owner, watch what happens to your results in your business when you get your health in check, when you start eating more of the right foods that give you the strength and the power to tackle the stresses of everyday business. Watch what happens to that, and watch what happens to the relationships around you as well, and your mentality. Like honestly, it's a flow-on effect. Like everything for me starts with nutrition, and when I've got my nutrition right, everything else seems to fall into place and flow really effortlessly and with grace. And isn't that what we would love more of? I know that I definitely would. I don't want to live a high stress life. I definitely want to live with, more grace and a lifestyle that's in alignment with how I want to feel. And that's what we want for you as well. So like, congratulations on making it all the way through the podcast. If this has been helpful, if you got some amazing tips, don't forget to share it. And we welcome you back to our next podcast. So have a great week, guys.
Damn. Yeah.